Okay, so first and foremost, congratulations. Been
Thank
rooting for you
you.
for 80 some days.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
You said this is your first Detroit interview, your first Michigan interview, right?
First Detroit, first Michigan interview, and it's good to talk to the hometown folks. I fell in love with journalism just by watching Detroit news, watching all the newscasters. So this is really big for me.
Love it. I love it. All of America loves you, but I feel like us Michiganders are a little territorial. We're like, but she's from here and we had her first.
Yes, yes. No, claim it. Claim me. I wore the state title across my chest. Like I am fully a Detroiter, Michigander. That is my home.
How are you feeling this morning? Not only winning Big Brother, being the first Black woman to win a regular season of Big Brother, and the first winner to take home America's favorite player.
It's just an absolute whirlwind, and truly, it just feels like I've been vindicated. I didn't realize how big that target was and how early that target was on my back, and to be on the block and have so much hatred spewed against me, just to come out victorious against all my bullies. It feels the best. It is so great to know that the people who doubted me and wanted to work against me were forced to work with me because I forced them to see my heart and my soul. So it's a really, really great full circle moment now.
I'm assuming you have your phone back, but you haven't really had much chance to, yeah, do
Spot
anything.
on, spot on.
Who told you first how you were being received outside of the house? Was it your mom, your grandma? I mean, when did you get that flood of relief? America loves me. What I've been going through in the house is separate.
Well, the first people that I saw were the other members of the jury, and then the four people who were not on the jury but who were part of the cast. So the only people I saw directly after that were my mom and my grandma. And they only had a few moments with me before they were escorted out. And they just told me, I have a positivity folder for you, and I have a hit list folder for you too. But here are all the great things that you need to know. So I know that my favorite reality show outside of Big Brother is RuPaul's Drag Race, and my two favorite queens from the series both have shouted me out. Apparently, Lace Potato Chips has been tweeting about me a lot often, so it's been just unbelievable. And they even told me what my follower count went up to. I started out with around 5,000. Now I have 120 something, I think now. I blink and it goes up, which is just asinine to see because I know where I started in this game and I felt like I was so alone for so long. And to know that everybody who was on the outside saw what I understood myself to be, it makes it all worth it.
I want to let you rest for a moment, and I'm assuming you don't still have this memorized. I want to read back just a quote from your speech last night. Monty may have had more blood on his hands than me, but as someone who has sat on this eviction block 6 times on eviction night, I have bled out the most in this game. I have bandaged myself together every time, gotten up, and continued to fight because, like so many other women in the world, that is what we have to do to get to the end. We have to take care of ourselves and put ourselves first while also looking out for the rest of the ones behind us. I think people have taken that excerpt and drawn so much inspiration from it, and you see it all over social media. What was it like for you drafting that in your head and getting to say that in front of the world?
Yeah, it's funny because this game can force you to think that the only way to win the game is by comp wins or having HOHs and wielding power. And I did those things, but I wasn't getting the accolades or the strong resume talk that the other guys that were in that final three, I assumed would be getting. And I'm sure if we look back at that jury, it was probably that conversation. So I felt like the only thing I had was to talk about my journey in this game. And I didn't want to do something that made the jury feel like I was guilting them, but I just wanted to speak the truth. And I wanted to speak about why I got in the game in the first place. And it was always to push the women forward in the game. Now, the girls say they also wanted the same mission, but for the most part in the early stages of the game, they just didn't act on that, which was disappointing for me. But I never wanted to let that deter me from carrying out the goal that I had. So when I was talking to that jury, it was just matter of fact. Here's my experience. Here is what this game means for me and what it can mean for other people. And I hope it lands and resonates. And I guess it did.
Yeah, I think that message of resiliency certainly resonated. One of the things with Big Brother 24, which we've seen on other seasons, there were some deep moments. There were some cultural moments that were really big. Kyle was a part of one this summer. Something I haven't seen you been asked yet. What do you make of him also being in top three with you for America's favorite player?
That's an interesting one. It's funny. I watched a clip of that, and you can see the shock in a lot of our faces. And I am curious where those votes really came from. Are they people who agreed with the actions that he did, or are they people who are investing in his progress? And knowing a lot of the history of how things tend to go with the internet, I am concerned that it comes from people who agree with his actions. But what's more important to me is that Kyle takes this opportunity to own his actions, own his decisions, and choose progress, which is what he did in this house. And because he was willing to do that, I'm willing to have him in my circle and continue to encourage his progress, because I'd rather have people who are imperfect, who are willing to admit that they acted on bad or racist thoughts and behaviors, and do the work to change and set that example for other people, than people who are not willing to do that. So Kyle being in top 3 was definitely a shock to me, and I'm sure many of the other house guests, but as a person, as a friend, I still value him, and I really do love the kid to death, and I hope that he's going to follow through on the promises he made.
I don't know if you're able to answer this, but I saw some people on Twitter asking, is there a reason Julie wasn't on stage with you for your confetti moment? Where was Julie?
Oh, it was probably a COVID thing. You know, we haven't been able to hug and do anything with our interviews. I wouldn't know because I was never evicted, so I didn't get a Julie interview. But yeah, that would probably be a COVID thing. But you know, as long as Julie is safe, I'm happy.
Wonderful. But a lot of people in Michigan want to know, do you think you'll stay in West Bloomfield, Metro Detroit? Are you going to go explore California, New York?
I'll definitely be in California for a couple of weeks. There's a lot of opportunities for me out here, but I'm a native Detroiter. I grew up in the University District, and that area has just done some amazing things in the time that I've gone to college. And oh my God, it's been about 10 years since I've lived in that area. Wow, I feel older now. Okay. So I do want to own property in Detroit, because Detroit is the city that gave my family refuge. You know, my grandma grew up in the deep South Mississippi, segregated Mississippi, and she and her brother moved up to Detroit, and that's where they were able to find dignity and jobs and create a middle class, working class life that birthed my mom and then put me on this earth, which I don't think is a bad thing. But I look at Detroit and I think about freedom and I think about refuge, and the idea of not owning property and being a permanent resident long term is something that I'm not going to abandon that. I'm going to be a Michigander forever.
Strong Michigander roots. Speaking of Michigan, we had Xavier take the title last year.
Right.
Nicole, goodness, 2016. Dan Giesling back in 2008, I'm pretty sure. We've got to think about
stats.
I know. Are we just bred for Big Brother, or what's going on here?
Something in the water. I don't know. We got Tiffany too, America's favorite player last season. So I don't know. I would not be upset if we took another Michigan win home next year. But let's do it. Why not? Also, something funny that I'm really curious about. I think one of my cousins might have gone to the high school that Dan taught at. So yeah, both my cousins went to St. Mary's. So I wonder if he ended up teaching my cousins or not. I'm just curious.
I love that. My husband still picks on me to this day. I'm the biggest Big Brother fan. Like, my bio on the CBS News Detroit page is about Big Brother. And there was one day he asked me if I wanted to go to the Maury in Birmingham. I said, no, and I picked a different restaurant. And the next morning I woke up and Tiffany was there. Everybody from 23. And I'm like,
okay. Yeah, that's with like Chada and X, and everybody flew out for a little bit. See,
yeah, I have few regrets worse than that one. I do want to ask you a question about Monty taking you to final 2. You know, I think all of America was rooting for you and we're thrilled with that decision, and it thrust you into first. Had he taken Turner, do you think he would have won? Monty, do you think Monty could have won, making a different decision?
I think that Monty could have won the game if he took Turner. I think that Turner made a lot of big moves, but I think Monty had better jury management than Turner. And I think my ability to create empathy with the jury was something that was very crucial to this specific jury. And I think Monty had really milked that for a very long time, where Turner just didn't. Monty kind of owned his moves more so than Turner did. So I think it was the two of them. Monty could have taken it. Was it a mistake to take me? I'm not going to say that. I won't say it. But I also know that Monty said pretty early on, and this could be a lie, you tell me, because there's a lot of things I'm finding out about different people now. Yeah. But he did say pretty early on that if he were to go to final 2, he would prefer to sit next to a Black woman. And, you know, it worked out.
I saw the look on your face last night when Turner mentioned he had a final 2 with Monty. That was news to you, right? Did you have a moment of internal panic?
I, for a moment, did. But I know Monty's character. I know that he is someone who is going to try to make a big move for his game. And we all signed up to play the game of Big Brother, and he wanted to play a game where his resume was going to be stacked, and the game that I had to play just had to be different. So yes, the final two was news to me, but the conversations that Monty and I had, it just made more sense for him in his mind to take me to final two. And I'll be really honest, I did not think that I had a shot going against Monty. I thought he had a stronger, more defendable position in the game, but I just put everything out there and it was picked up.
How long did it take for you to realize you won? Because obviously I did not have the adrenaline and the nerves pumping through my system like you did, but I could tell with the keys. I could tell with the things being said as the keys were going into that block that you had this. In that moment, had you thought there was a possibility, or were you still?
Indy's vote still seemed like it was for Monty. So she goes, I would give this to my favorite person. And I just patted Monty on the back and said, oh, that one's yours. There's no way Indy's ever going to vote for me. That is all yours. But Michael slid in a little SpongeBob quote for me. So I knew that was for me. Brittany's missing vote was hilarious. But there are some people that I just didn't feel so sure about. But I will say when we went to commercial, Monty leaned over to me and he said, I think you took this girl. And I was like, let's just wait and see. Shocking for us, Terrence. The most shocking was Terrence for me, but it all paid off.
I was gonna say, I will admit, I yelled at you a few times on the TV when you were so torn between Brittany and Turner in that vote, because I could just see you were 50-50, and you're sitting on your couch like, I want to help her out. It was Brittany. Do you forgive her for that? Do you think it's just part of the game? Are you a little stinging on the inside?
No, I think it's hilarious. I love it. We needed something messy and fun in the game anyway, because it's just been a lot of trauma for me on the way there. So I love that she did something a little stupid for her own game, shook things up a little bit. Either way, I still would have taken Brittany, whether I was happy or upset with her, because it still made sense to me to take her. I still felt like I could beat her. And I really did not think that I would win against Monty or Turner. I did not think it was possible at all. And to win in an 8-1 vote against Monty just blew my mind. If I were to win against Monty, I thought it'd be a very close 5-4 vote. So my mind has been reeling, and I'm sure Monty's is too, but he made a great choice.
Yeah. Probably my last question for you, and I hope you felt we did all the important stuff off the top. There was a jury member last night who looked a little heartbroken as things were revealed. Looked a little somber. Where do you go from here? Very close with him in the house. What does that relationship look like moving forward? He was transparent as could be last night.
Yeah, and it broke my heart too, because I was under the impression that he completely flipped on me and turned on me, even though I didn't want to believe it. There were just too many things that made sense to me that only he would have known that was being revealed, in my assumption anyway. So to know that I went ahead and acted on a new showman's, a small, minor, early, but a new showman's under false assumptions. Yeah, false pretenses. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was devastating for me as well, and really painful. So I just know that Joseph and we've had some really great conversations since the finale, and I'm hopeful, and I know he's hopeful too.
Wonderful. Well, we hope to run into you at Somerset, Taylor.
Oh, I stay at Somerset.
I got some. You said, what was it, Melissa last night?
Cash I can spend at Tiffany's over there, so I will see you there.
Wonderful. We look forward to that. I hope to see you in a Lay's Super Bowl commercial one day.
Fingers crossed. Maybe I'll go to Rihanna's after party. She's the Super Bowl now. I'm learning things about the real world again, so I'm easing in, but I'm excited for her.
I'm so excited for you to be able to pick up your phone and dive back in. One last question for you. I lied. You're used to that though. You're coming out of the Big Brother house. If you get invited back on an all-star season or any of CBS's other things, Amazing Race, the challenge is on CBS now. Is that an invitation you'd accept? Do you need a little break? How you feeling?
I definitely need a break from Big Brother. And luckily All Stars has happened, 2 years ago now? So I think it'll be a while until we get another one. So give me some time. I think I'll be ready for another All-Star season. I will be ready for another All-Star season that is not 25. So, but I think Joseph and I talk about doing the Amazing Race all the time, and we locked eyes last night and said we're doing it. Yes. So if we get the call, we will probably be traveling the world together. One way or another, we will still travel the world together. I just know it.
You gave me goosebumps. I love it. Don't forget about your Michigan people. Like I said earlier, everyone loves you now, but a lot of people here loved you first and
You
have
guys are
been rooting
homes.
for
I
you for
love
day
you.
one. So
Thank you so much, Rochelle.
thank you, Taylor. Get a good 8 hours of sleep. I don't know how long it'll take you to check that off the list.
I'm too used to running on like 2.5 hours of sleep in the Big Brother house. 8 is just, it's over rested at this point. So I don't know. I'll work on it. You told me to, so I will work on it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.